What's up guys, I'm Dean and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with my third or fourth, I should probably check, I'm not sure, of my movie diary. Every month I go through every movie I watched that month and give you my brief thoughts on it and give it a score out of 5. Today we're going through every movie I watched in July 2021. Let's jump into it. The first movie I watched this month was Chris Pratt's new movie on Amazon Prime, and that is The Tomorrow War, and I had a surprising amount of fun with it. I'm not normally a fan of these kind of schlocky action movies, but I think this one was good for me. It wasn't good, it was fun. Chris Pratt's character was flat. All of the characters were flat, really, but it had a fun premise and strong moments. I really liked the time travel element, and I liked the alien design, and I think they went together well. And I think there was alright world building. Overall, I gave it 3 stars. I then watched the big movie of the month, which I've talked about a number of times in various places, Black Widow. I talked about it on my podcast. I did a review for it on this channel, so go check that stuff out if you want to hear more thoughts about it. And I thought it was pretty good. It was good. I think it worked very well as an exploration of the 4 characters in the family and their relationship with each other, but I didn't think it worked as a spy thriller. I think the action fell flat. The villain Dreykov was weak. Taskmaster was alright. I didn't mind that twist as much as a lot of people seem to, but you know, overall it was pretty good. Yelena was amazing. Red Guardian was pretty good. The opening scene was also pretty good. I did have fun with it, but it was nothing stand out to me. It was just a very middle of the road Marvel movie. Yes, so I gave Black Widow 3 stars. I then watched The Truman Show, one of my favourite movies of all time. My second favourite movie of all time. You can see I've got a post for it just there. Sorry, I'm looking over here so I can see where I'm pointing. But it's just there. I love this movie to death. Amazing score. Jim Carrey's my favourite actor, and this is one of his best performances. The idea of this movie is, I think, what really makes it. It's got a great plot and it is executed so well, and it's so nuanced. They could have made the director just a villain, and they could have made it more horror-y, but what I think is really amazing about The Truman Show is that it's still somehow optimistic, and I think that is something really impressive when you look at what the movie's about and what actually happens in the film. I think that is the really impressive part. But like I said, beautiful score, beautiful everything. 5 stars. I then watched Black Widow again. On a rewatch, I think I did like it more. There are certain nuances to the characters that I noticed and I really enjoyed. But yet again, the action didn't grow on me. If anything, it got worse, and there's some dodgy CGI moments in there. So I stuck with 3 stars, but I still had fun with it. I then watched Chef, a Jon Favreau movie about him making Iron Man 2. Kind of, it's about a chef, believe it or not, who opens a food truck, and I thought it was really sweet and heartwarming, and I liked the cast, and I think it was good performances. It did have some issues, but overall I think it was really well written. I think it's a really good idea, and I think it was executed really well. 3.5 stars. I then watched The Suicide Squad, and I didn't like this movie. This is the 2016 one. Of course, I didn't like it at the time, and I don't like it now. I think I dislike it more than most people. There's a lot of issues with it. I think the biggest issue is the team. There's good characters. I like Deadshot. I like Harley Quinn, despite her being too sexualized. Margot Robbie gives a great performance though, but they don't mesh together at all. You don't see them bond, and at the end of the movie, they pretend they have a bond with each other that we never actually saw. And these characters do not have arcs. They just decide to be the good guys at the end, and there's just not enough time with any of the other team apart from Harley Quinn and Deadshot. I think they need to focus on the other team a lot, and I didn't really like the introduction of the team like a lot of people do. I think it was just teasing us with a better movie that we didn't get to see by showing us all these clips of all their origins. Jared Leto's in it, so that's a big downside. I really don't like his Joker or him as a person. It does have some good stuff, like I said, Margot Robbie. The villain is bad though. Overall, I don't like it. 1.5 stars. I then watched Fun with Dick and Jane, another Jim Carrey movie, of course, not as good as The Truman Show, but I had fun with it. It was pretty good. There wasn't loads of Jim Carreying. It had quite a serious premise, but it was juxtaposition. It was contrasted by, Jim Carrey doing what Jim Carrey does best, and they didn't really dwell on the emotional side of it as much as I think I would have liked, but overall I don't mind that too much because it meant we got to see more Jim Carreying, and that's always best. I had fun with it. There were some good scenes. It was quite funny. I would have also liked to see more of Jane. It was just a lot of Dick. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Okay, I knew I was going to have to talk about this one eventually. I then watched Space Jam: A New Legacy, the new one. I only watched half of it because my cinema was evacuated. Long story, it's all explained in my Letterboxd review, but I only watched half of this movie, and I'm still counting it as a movie I watched because I didn't sit through an hour of this garbage to not talk about it because it was bad. It was bad. It was. They treated the viewer like garbage. I think they just went, here. Oh, you disgusting nerd. You like our movies. Hey, you're gonna pay for this. Hey, here's a character enjoy it. You gross nerd. I just felt like they were just shoveling poo into my mouth the entire time, going, oh yeah, you like this character, don't you? Well, here it is. That's not how you make a movie. It didn't work. It was terrible. They didn't even care about the Looney Tunes enough to do anything about it. LeBron James wasn't a good actor. I know nothing about basketball, but I assume he's good. Probably. That was a joke. I know he's good. Just, awful. Awful. 1 star. It was so bad. It didn't even look good. I'm not a big fan of the animation, and they just... It wasn't me who said this, but this movie is just light and noise. I didn't come up with that, but it was just... That's the best summary of this movie I could possibly think of. It was so bad. I then watched Hunt for the Wilder People, which is one of my favourite movies of all time. Taika Waititi's best movie, in my opinion, and it is just a fun, rollicking, lovely good time. Sam Neill is amazing in it. I really love his character, and I love that character's arc, and I love Sam Neill's performance, and I love his relationship with Julian Dennison's character, Ricky Baker, who Julian Dennison is also great in this. It's just a fun rollick. I've said that already. I'm still thinking about Space Jam: A New Legacy. I haven't seen the first one. This movie doesn't even care about the Looney Tunes. It misunderstands the Looney Tunes. It misunderstands movie. Anyway, I gave Hunt for the Wilder People 5 stars because it's a good movie. It's better than Space Jam: A New get that out of there. Okay. And yeah, Hunt for the Wilder People is a fun time. I was about to say fun, rollicking, good time. Whew. I then watched Spider-Man from 2002. The first one with Tobey Maguire, directed by Sam Raimi, and I enjoyed it more than I remember enjoying it. I never really thought it was a bad movie, but I had issues with it. I thought it was too campy and weird, and I still think Tobey Maguire is a bit of a creep in his character. I don't know if Tobey Maguire, the person, is a creep. I assume not, but his character is a creep in this movie. And I really like the villain, though. I think Willem Dafoe did a great job, like he does in everything. And I think what's really interesting about this movie is how all the different characters know different things about each other, but none of them have a full understanding of the situation. But we, as the audience, do. And I think that element of this is executed really well. So I enjoyed it more than I remembered. I gave it 4.5 stars. I then watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, another one of my favourite movies ever. I've just been watching some of the classics this month, and it's just fun, rollicking, good I'm saying fun, rollicking, good time again. I'm still thinking about Space Jam. Bill and Ted. Space Jam: A New Legacy. Bill and Ted is good. I think by the time the third act comes, they forget about the plot and just focus on the fun, and I think that works really, really well. I think that's an excellent decision for this movie, and I just love the montage we have of all the historical figures in the mall and Napoleon on the water slide. That scene alone gives me more joy than almost any scene in cinema. Seeing Napoleon goes down those water slides, I giggle, and I laugh, and it's very funny to me. I'm not sure why. But yeah, it's really fun. I gave it 4.5 stars. The next movie I watched this month was A Bug's Life. It's the only Pixar movie I have never seen, and I had a good time with it. I think it was probably a below average Pixar movie, but that makes it an above average movie. I liked the characters. I think a lot of the jokes didn't work for me personally, and kind of the timing of them didn't really fit with the overall narrative of the movie. I thought they felt quite disjointed in the movie. I thought the villain worked really well and was really well performed, probably because Kevin Spacey is a villain in real life, and the animation was, as you'd expect, pretty good for the very good for the time. Pretty bad now, but can't really deduct points for that. 3 stars. I then watched The Peanut Butter Falcon, which was just a fun, feel-good movie. It's kind of like The Truman Show, where it's not all light-hearted and a lot of bad things happen, but it's still heartwarming and it's still optimistic and it's still fun. I think all the performances were very well done, and all these characters were explored so well with like a subtlety that I really appreciated, because they didn't go into depth what all these characters' issues were, but you knew, and I think that worked really well in this movie. I really liked that element of it. And finally, the last movie I watched of the month, I'm not going to talk about it too much because tomorrow or soon I will be posting a review for it, and that is The Suicide Squad, James Gunn's newest movie, DC's newest movie. I loved it. No spoilers, so don't worry. It's incredible. It's got a beautiful score. It's really well shot, which really surprised me. The cinematography is phenomenal in my opinion. I think that's really a standout for me. But everything the last Suicide Squad movie did badly, this did good. And the characters work so well together. Just overall, it was a fun, rollicking time. So I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please stick around to watch us next month. I have a podcast, HD Movie Talk, where every week we do something different. We talk about bad movies, we bring on a guest and talk about their favourite movies, and we talk about superhero news and new movies. And on Tuesday we are talking about superhero news and The Suicide Squad, so come and check that out, please. I'd really appreciate it. I'm hosting it with Fluffy Duffy, who is a fellow TikToker. I don't like calling myself a TikToker. Anyway, please remember to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I don't know why I did that. I'm still thinking about Space Jam. The issue is I only watched half of the movie, okay, so I can't really give a full judgment on it. And I hated it. And I still want to see the second half of it, and I don't know why that is. I still want to finish it. But finishing it means I'd have to sit through that first half again, because it's only in cinemas in the UK, and I can't sit through that first half again. And I don't even want to finish it, because it's a bad movie, but I need to finish it. I can't just not finish it. But I'm not going to finish it, but I really want to. But it was bad. Big Chungus was in it. Okay, next month I'm going to try not watch anything as bad as Space Jam: A New Legacy, but no promises. Okay. These breakdowns aren't even planned, because I did one last month as well about F9. And I'm just doing it again. I just need to watch good movies. Okay, I'll see you next time.